I've been wanting to do this for almost a year, make a video out of this little rant of mine, my open letter to Theists. I'm going to have my Furlock and the Dead Sea Skulls in this part 1 of my open letter to Theists and Apologists.
I will read to you now Johnny DriveBYE's open letter to Theists. I want all theists of all religions and denominations to read this and understand that when it comes to convincing me that a God exists, you have all lost the argument. You're done. Your gods will have to get off their omnifictional high horse and prove they exist without you. Not a single one of you have ever presented anything that I can use as evidence. Just give up already. Understand that the more you try to convince me, the more I am unable to believe your non-evident gods are real. It's gotten to the point now where I scratch my head and wonder if there is any sanity left in some of you.
If you are sane, I'm sorry, but your actions allow me to suspect nefarious intentions. Take a good hard look at your megachurches.
If you can't see the moral bankruptcy that's being perpetuated in what one of your religious sects calls the money changers and lenders, well,
You just might be the problem.
these churches have nothing to base moral authority on. If you think I should just sit there and let them do their thing,
They shift the blame by filtering it through their
proposed invisible god or gods,
to condemn me to hell, using this to recruit the tithers for their so-called God-given estates.
I'm sorry if this is the case. The argument is over. I can't see any good reason for further discussion. I would speak for all atheists, but I cannot. Many of you seem to think that we do not have the default position. Why? See rhetorical. That position you cannot change. We are all different except for one thing. We do accept the evidence you have given us as proof of a God's existence. The problem is that there is none. Zero. El Zippo. Some theists try to paint us all with this broad brush and say things like, knowledge of gods are written in your hearts. This is what they claim by reading a passage out of a very debatable ancient book that was obviously written by people that were very ignorant of how the natural world worked. People seem to be complicit with these tales told. I often pause to wonder why that is.
I suppose it provokes a curiosity into the strange foibles of the human mind. Evolution has given us various tendencies which in general helped our tenuous survival, but also at times make us vulnerable to nonsense. For example, the confusion of correlation with causation in the post hoc ergo propter hoc used to prompt our ancestors to run away in fear from what they were actually harmless things in their environment. But it helped to keep them on their toes, and sometimes it removed them from very real dangers so that they could reproduce for another day.
Running away from what one doesn't understand does little harm, assuming it doesn't take up all our waking hours. And sometimes it did our ancestors a bit of good. An example is the very first time they saw a wolverine, their first reaction to something large and new was to run from the wolverine. So when a tribal-minded creationist spews rants against the dangers of the evolutionary thinking in a lot of science they don't really understand, he's repeating the kinds of warnings that our ancestor Thog must have delivered around the cave campfire each night. After all, one had better best instill plenty of fear into the young ones so that nobody lets their natural curiosity lead them to observe the new phenomenon for a little too long and pokes it with a stick to see what happens, i.e., the proto-scientific method of our ancestors. I do repeat, their most advanced scientific method was poking shit with a stick, for crying out loud.
There are those of you who want to believe. Then there are some of you that sort of believe. But you both are complicit with these willfully ignorant people because either you fell for their fast talk or it makes you feel better about the mysteries of death. The big unknown. Hey, that's too bad. I'm sorry, but it's death. You're dead. There is no evidence that our conscience can exist beyond death. Go ahead and research the science. At least it's on the internet now, and it makes it much easier to debunk.
It is our best knowable answer that there is no evidence to support consciousness after you pass on. This is not a good reason to believe. I see so many of you clinging on to this ancient book which grants you a ticket to an eternal paradise, no matter how much of a scumbag you may be. Just believe. You're in. On the other hand, die saving the entire world from a horrible fate, yet I would still be condemned to spend an eternity in hell, simply because I couldn't make myself believe. I want you to think very hard about this.
And even after all of that, still no evidence. Thought I'd forget, eh? You just want it to be true. Maybe you think it's okay to allow yourself to pretend that what you are presenting to us is falsifiable empirical evidence for your God's existence. As soon as you realize how unsound your reasoning is, you either try to pretend you can read our minds, saying we all are simply rejecting your God. No, my friends, it does not work that way. The theists that try to use these tactics are either very ignorant or delusional. They think they know an atheist's thoughts, or they are very dishonest. Try to make others think they are telling the truth about knowing an atheist's thoughts. Before any of you go around accepting a theist's authority on these fallacious claims about atheists, I suggest asking him some hard questions to see if his logic is corrupt. Then maybe asking an atheist or two like me before you claim knowledge on what I or any atheist actually thinks. It is intellectually dishonest and allows some to wrongfully judge people. Westboro should be a fair warning. There is nothing wrong with questioning a being that will torture you for an eternity for simply not believing he exists. Don't you think that you deserve to be given a better answer than, "You can't possibly begin to understand my plan"?